Hi everyone, I know it's been quite a while since I've last made a video on this channel. There's been so much change that's happened in the past 3 months. It's kind of insane. One of the things I'm really trying to learn in this phase of my life is really learning how to let go and to surrender to the process of things. I've always been someone who really wants certainty out of things, which is, I think, my need to control. And I think when I start doing that, I really start creating fantasies in my brain to really not recognize or see the reality of things. That the reality of things is way too hard for me to confront. So I'm just come up with narratives and ideas in my brain to provide myself some kind of reprieve from reality in some way, which is maladaptive daydreaming, as some of you may understand. And that really hit me with my job. As y'all know, I was a BT for a bit, and then I realized that this wasn't something I could do for a very long time. And it really hit me within maybe a month in. And also, I am in post-grad right now. I just graduated in June. And the past couple months have been such a learning process for me that I didn't expect. It's actually been really frustrating and annoying because I feel like I had a perception of what post-grad was supposed to be like, and it just is not what I expected it to be. I really felt like I was sold some kind of fantasy as to what it was supposed to be like. And right now, the job market's pretty rough, and a lot of the jobs I've been going for pay very freaking low, and I've just been feeling like I'm living in precarity. I almost feel like people who can actually move back home to their families while they're job hunting have such a major privilege. I was initially going to do that, but fortunately now have no room back home to do that. There's no one who's willing to house me for free, I'm a grown-ass adult at this point in my life. So again, the biggest lesson that I've been learning is the importance of just letting go and just surrendering to the process and being really open to where life takes you. That definitely, I now work in a museum, which is crazy. I work in an art museum, which is super unexpected. I'm also in a relationship with someone that I never expected to be in a relationship with. And him and I both didn't expect it at all. It gets kind of came out of nowhere. And I've been reevaluating my next steps again for some reason. I was telling my partner about how I sometimes feel that I have to match up to society's expectations of me. Because in my mind, I feel like if I do that, it's going to guarantee stability. And I'm realizing, even if I follow society's steps to be successful, it does not mean I'm going to reap the awards because we don't live in a meritocracy, okay? Even if you put hard work in, it doesn't always mean you're going to get rewarded. People put in hard work every day. It doesn't mean they always get promoted. And sometimes it's really who you know. It's the capital that you have, the social capital that you have, which really fucking frustrates me that this is the reality. That you need social capital in order to genuinely be successful within the United States, within Western worlds. And for me, working in a museum where I can see various people of different social statuses, there's a game that is present and there's a paradigm that exists that I just can't see myself wanting to be a part of. I feel like a part of me is being killed every time I try to appease that status level, this bourgeois attitude. I just can't do it. I feel, genuine for me, it feels so pretentious. I don't feel like I'm above anyone because I have these aesthetic preferences, and all that. And I could feel myself adopting these bourgeois attitudes being in these environments and believing that if I adopt these bourgeois environments, if I blend in, if I fit in, it means I will be successful. However, that is not the case. And even so, maybe it could happen in if months from now, I can just build these relationships with these people, and maybe I'll be guaranteed something higher within the museum, or someone could come up to me hey, you're perfect for this job. But the reality is, that's probably not going to happen. And one of the things that I have really been struggling to admit to myself, and again, this was very much shown to me by my partner, which I really didn't want to see because I am stubborn and I like not being told what to do, which is my ego thing, which I'm still trying to work on. But essentially what he's telling me that he was really confirming my brain and the way it works. And I just haven't really had someone who really affirms my brain and the way it does. I genuinely do believe my brain has this capacity to be so brilliant, and its ability to make connections, transcontextual patterns, the knowledge I have, the way that it's so analytical. I do feel like I have that contribute to the world. I just very much felt very different for some reason from others because of my ability to do that. Which is a whole conversation about like ego and individualism and all that stuff. And I can just go on and on about that. However, what I was trying to say is, when it comes down to it, I want to be in an environment where the only thing that really matters is your character and what it is that you are contributing, like, logically. To me, that feels very objective, and it's empirical and it's not biased. Like, obviously there is bias within institutions and all that stuff, of course, but that is a bias I'm willing to undergo. I'd rather be in a space where I'm being challenged intellectually than being challenged for my entire existence, my personhood, and like judged for how I look and how I'm carrying myself. I'd rather be judged for what I write, how I speak or explain a lecture or whatever. And it's still something that I'm trying to process and accept that this is something that I would want for myself. Just because I, again, really have suppressed my intelligence in some ways because I felt like, again, my brain was different from people and I didn't think anyone really cared. But the more I've been thinking and reflecting, I am very curious about looking into the philosophies of market research, looking into workers' rights, workers' unions, and consumer society, consumerism, and gift economies, and how BIPOC are affected by these issues, and really just look at the economics of things and political sides of things. I just, for some reason, never thought that I was honestly smart enough or important enough to have an opinion on those things. It's not to say I want to be a politician, because I'm not saying that at all. However, I do feel like I can contribute something different to the conversation. I just feel like I just need to believe myself more. And I don't mean in a sense like I'm tired of being in these like representation politics spaces, because they're focused on language and I really don't care about that. What I really care about is policy, people's lives in a very objective way, what's happening literally right now that is clearly you can see and there's evidence and is systemically hurting people. I want to find those solutions. I want to critique those things, and I want people to think. That's the most important thing. I want people to think when they look into my writing. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent, but it's been really difficult, again, for me to just like accept that maybe this creative career I want is a fantasy, and I actually don't want it. And I think in my mind, maybe if I become a creative, things will be better. But no, it doesn't. I will have the same problems, just I'll be in a creative space. I'll be in a different environment. I'll be in a different city. And I'm really glad I read Mark Manson's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because it really showed me the importance of what problems are you willing to have? What struggles are you willing to have? And I really want to have, like, social issue troubles. But in a way that I can be detached and still take care of myself, and still add humor and sit in and being satirical in my work. I still want that. I just really don't want to take life that seriously, where my career is my passion and I will die for it. I thought that's what I needed to do in order to be successful, but clearly that's just not how the world works. And sometimes it's by luck. And sometimes, it is by hard work and in like passion, right? It just seems like I don't think I'm in it for the right reasons. And that's pretty difficult for me to accept. And Brienne West really helped me understand that. It's just something we wanted when we were kids, which I think for me was being a creative and being in my fantasy, really would have helped me, I think, when I was younger, because I was naturally a very creative person, creatively gifted in that way. And I wanted to be validated through my craft and my profession. Now that I do establish myself as an artist, nothing's really changed. I even think that even if my work is being sold, I think I would still feel the same way. All I notice, like, I would probably care about the money. And that's not how I want to live my life. I want people to look at my work and really process and engross themselves into it, to critique it, analyze it, to really put themselves in it. I'm not saying that art can't do that, because it can, and I think there's art in research for sure. It's just, I just want to have a conversation with people, and I want to share my voice, because my voice is important and it matters just like everyone else. And I really struggled for a very long time believing that was true. And yeah, this has been my final thoughts. I know I kind of went all over the place, but hopefully this kind of helps you in trying to figure out what you want to do in this current moment in your life, because to be honest, forever is not guaranteed. The best we can do is just focus on today and the next day, maybe a couple months from now, and generally making the choice out of knowing that, yeah, one day we're not going to be here anymore, but not being afraid of it. Really choosing a life where you wouldn't mind just departing and being like, you know what? At least I tried, you know? Yeah. That's me. Thanks for listening, y'all. Bye.